Hey guys, how are you? I'm so excited to make a video. My husband just took the baby for a run in the stroller so I could have a few quiet minutes to come give some updates and talk about what's been going on with me. So I am now 6 months postpartum from having my little guy. He is so adorable. And I don't just say that because he's my mother. I do think I would think he was cute even if he belonged to someone else. So things are going very well. He's very well behaved. He's pretty mild-mannered. He smiles a lot. I'll show you guys some pictures. And then I wanted to talk about what's going on with me. So I hate to just jump into the numbers because for me, my life now isn't just about the scale and the numbers, but it's kind of like a point of reference. So I am nearly 5 years out from my weight loss surgery. And when I was pregnant, I gained 50 pounds. I had lost 30 of it at first, but now I've actually gained back 10. So I'm up 30 pounds from my normal weight. However, one thing I've been working on right now, rather than trying to lose the weight, is my self-image, my body image, my confidence, my self-esteem, whatever you want to call it. Because I realize that in my head, whether I'm big or small, I have a distorted view of myself. And that's something that I need to work on no matter what size I am. And so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what's been going on, and I actually took some notes. The first time I ever realized that my view of myself was off was when I was a few years out of high school. My friend and I, we both were on the heavier side when we were in high school. We were looking back through our yearbook, and we were like laughing, and we were saying, what in the world were we thinking? Like, we were not fat. Like, why did we think we were so fat? And we both were saying, man, I wish I could go back to that size now. So that was kind of the first time I realized that how I viewed myself, whether it was in the picture or in the mirror, how I felt, was not an accurate portrayal of what I actually looked like. In more recent times, now that so I lost the weight, and then when I gained it back in my pregnancy, I remember like a few specific photos that when they were taken, I was just mortified. And one of them was when my husband and I went to his brother's wedding in Mexico. I was wearing this tank top, and I remember after the photos were taken, I was so embarrassed, and I wanted to change my shirt immediately because I was thinking, oh my God, my arms look so fat and bumpy and horrible, and it ruins the picture, and no one's going to see anything else except for my arm. And now that I look back at those pictures, I want to slap myself and be like, what were you thinking? You looked fine. Like, you looked great. Like, my arm was not even a noticeable feature that someone else would have picked up on. The other thing is, I mentioned this, I think, in my last video, is a couple years ago, I made a video series called Losing the Regain, because I had went from, like, when I first lost weight, I got into the 140s, and I kind of had migrated up to the 150s. Well, I had wanted to lose that 10 pounds that I gained, so I made a little series. And looking at myself in those in those videos, I was thinking the same thing, like, Kelly, what in the world were you thinking? Like, you were not fat. You did not need to lose another 10 pounds. So, you know, if I was losing it for weight or to be more, if I was losing it for health or to maybe be more toned or because I had some fitness goals, you know, something like that, but just for the sake of the fact that I thought I was fat. And I look back with sadness of, why didn't you enjoy yourself then? Which obviously I did enjoy myself and my time, but I could have been even having a better time had I not been worried about my body. So a lot of things, I just have a little note of like things that we miss out on when we have a bad body image or bad self-esteem. For myself anyways, when I have always really enjoyed water, oh my God, the rain is like pouring. Like, I don't know what my poor husband and baby are doing right now. They're waiting on someone's porch because he went for a run. And maybe I should go pick him up. So I'll wait till he calls. I'll go get him if he calls. So anyways, things I missed out on is I absolutely positively love water. And I've always been really big into swimming when I was younger. And as I got older and I started gaining weight, like, I did not want to be in a bathing suit around other people. So I just totally missed out. You know, summers would go by where I didn't swim, or I would go to a hotel and I wouldn't use the pool, or there was an opportunity to go tubing or jet skiing or whatever, and I just wouldn't because I felt uncomfortable. Another thing is I was always uncomfortable because a lot of times, like, I didn't want to wear shorts. I didn't think they looked good. I didn't want to wear tank tops. I didn't want to wear short sleeves. So I would make myself even more uncomfortable because I was worried about how my body looked. So I would just try to hide it with clothes. So one thing I'm doing now, and I think this can help other people, is, and I'm not perfect at it. None of us are perfect. But watching other people talk negatively about themselves kind of gave me another perspective, and it made me not want to do it. I have a friend that is constantly talking bad about herself, and when you give her a compliment, she quickly like, oh, no, I'm so fat, or I'm so this, or I'm so that. And I got to the point where I told my husband, like, I'm not going to compliment her anymore because she makes it awkward. Like, I'm just telling you your hair looks nice, and you have to go on about how horrible your shirt is. You know, it just makes it uncomfortable, not just for the person receiving the compliment, but for the one giving it too. So that's something I've worked on is, you know, try not to say something negative about myself to other people. And the same thing, if someone compliments me, don't quickly push it away. And actually, I did really bad one day. My husband said, I remember what he said, something like damn or wow or whatever. And my first thought was, oh my God, I look horrible. And actually, he was doing it like a damn, you look sexy. And I'm like, oh God, I look horrible. So it actually created a little bit of friction because he's trying to compliment me and I'm thinking he's insulting me. You know, and that's an uncomfortable situation. The other thing is I've realized that the mirror and photos and videos are not always an accurate portrayal of how I really look. Sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, damn, I look good. And then I see a picture of myself on that same day and I'm just horrified. But then I've been noticing that when I take pictures of other people, it doesn't always look like them. Like, for instance, when I take a picture of my husband, I tell him, like, that doesn't look like you. Like, you look like you weigh 5 or 10 pounds more in the photo. So I try not to get too upset if there's a picture taken of me that doesn't look that good. And I also keep that in the back of my mind that when I was telling you guys, when I looked at my high school photo and I thought to myself, what was I thinking back then? And just more recently, when I was looking at photos from just a couple... We're going to have an intermission to show my wet baby. The poor thing got stuck in the rain. Hey, babies. Hey, babe. Hey, hi. So he's soaked. So let me go take care of this guy, and I'll be back. Okay, my poor babies, they got all soaking wet in the rain. I don't know if I mentioned they were... He had called me. They were waiting on someone's porch because they got stuck in the rain. And I asked if he wanted me to come get them, and he said no. And then obviously he must have tried to come home when it stopped raining. And then it started pouring really hard. So some lady, she said she was talking to her daughter on the phone and said, I've never picked up anyone before, but this man is walking with a baby. I'm going to stop and pick him up. So anyways, he just got a ride home. And they're okay. So what was I saying? Don't talk negatively about yourself to others. Don't push away compliments. And I know it can feel very awkward to get a compliment when you don't feel what the person is saying is true, but they think it's true. That's why they're saying it. So if they give you a compliment, just shut your mouth. Don't say anything negative about yourself. And eventually maybe you can even say thank you. And eventually maybe you can even appreciate what they've just said. What was kind of funny is when I stopped pushing compliments away, I started noticing that so many people were always telling me what pretty eyes I had. And after a while, I had to realize, like, okay, I've heard this from 20 different people. Obviously, they're telling me the truth. Like, they're not just making it up. So, you know, it's just this circle, this bad cycle if you don't stop yourself somehow. So, you know, moving on to the next one. Buy yourself... Okay, so where was I? What was I saying? I forgot. So we'll just move on. The next thing is something I've been doing is I buy myself clothes that fit and don't torment myself with a smaller size in the back of my closet or this has to fit or I'm not going to buy a new size until this fits. Like, I just don't punish myself like that anymore. And I think of like how much of my life I spent like that. Like, I wouldn't buy myself a new outfit. I wouldn't go up into the next size. I had these clothes that I just had to fit into. And it's like, why? Like, why was I making myself uncomfortable all the time? So, I actually, when I got pregnant and my pants didn't fit, not because of my stomach, but because of my legs. Like, I swear to you, I woke up one morning and like they had doubled. And, my pants, I could not get my leg into the pant leg. It was insane. So I actually got rid of all of them except for one pair, which were my pre-pregnancy fat pants. They actually were like super big on me. Now, I haven't tried them on in a couple months, but those were the only ones that fit me after I had the baby. I know the other ones wouldn't have fit, so I didn't even bother with it. But, you know, stop tormenting yourself with your clothes. I went out and I ended up buying new clothes. I was in a size 12 and I wore large shirts. Before getting pregnant, I was in a 6 and I wore small shirts. And I even went up in my closet just recently and I pulled out some size 4 and I was thinking like, dear Lord, same thing. Like, I just thought I was so big. Like, how can I be a size 4 and think that I'm fat and that I still needed to lose weight? So I really got to work on that part inside my head. Next, what did I write? Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. So yeah, so that's the main thing I'm working on right now, is just like making sure that I'm not insulting myself, not punishing myself, you know, those sort of things, because what happens, like the worse I feel about myself, what do I want to do, or what did I do in the past? I ate. So if eating is my coping skill, my bad coping skill, when I have a stressor and I'm constantly stressing myself by talking bad about myself, saying negative things about myself, not allowing myself to wear clothes that fit, of course I'm going to overeat. Then I'm going to gain even more weight. So right now I'm not even focused on losing weight, to be honest. I just really want to enjoy this part of my life. I think our society puts way too much pressure on people. I would say women more specifically, women that have just had babies. I think I look pretty damn good. And what my husband always says is, you're not fat. She says, you don't look fat. You look like a woman that just had a baby. And I 100%
right
agree
now,
with that.
I'm just focused
on being a good mom, breastfeeding my son, enjoying my life, not focusing so much on the weight and the food. With that said, I have never allowed myself to go back like 100% to like my old way of eating. Like, I still have limits. I still learned a lot from having my surgery and everything I went through. I know what I'm doing wrong now. It's not a question of, oh my God, why am I working so hard and I'm not losing weight? I know why I'm not losing weight. What else? Oh, I think I was starting to talk about how society puts so much pressure on women to like lose all this weight. But when you look back at like photos from the olden days, like way back when, you know, they painted instead of taking photos, women were more robust. They were round. They had curves. Their thighs didn't have a space in between them. And I saw a funny picture recently where someone actually photoshopped an old painting to what our standard of beauty is today, to show what it would have looked like. And it looks really funny to look at it in that way. So anywho, I guess that's all. I thank you guys for watching, and I'm so sorry when I don't respond to your comments in a timely fashion, but I do definitely read them. And if you asked me a question and I didn't respond, just bother me and send it to me again, or post it on a video and send it to my inbox. If I see the same name popping up, you know, I definitely do take notice. So I do thank you guys so much for your support. I hope you are having a great summer so far, and I will hopefully talk to you sooner than later. Mwah.